Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps Daily Teachings. A little late video today, so I'm not going to do introduction. Quick disclaimer before we start, anything we discuss is just for education, nothing is financial advice. I'll go a little fast today through this recap, but we'll see what happened in the market. We'll take a look at that, why the money rotated out of AI names into solid software names, rotated into the crypto stocks. That's called rotation. Everybody should be aware of that so that you are not buying the dips when there's no need to buy the dips when the market is selling off. Right, so we do everything is from our trading communities, Tanner Trade Group and Tanner Research, our investing swing trading branch. Also, a lot of our swing trades, long-term stocks went crazy as AI cooled down. So of course the AI names took a little breather. We will talk about it. So let's start with it. Let's first talk about what happened to the market today. So if you see that today, if I just go to our rotation tracker in our tannerresearch.ai, you can go there. It's free to use. You can do that. We focused on the rotation. That's why we had an amazing day in the community. 75% traders were the green, only 18% traders were red today, because I teach you the market analysis, tracking the market, where the money is flowing. There was a catalyst for that. Why the AI stocks were weak. Right? What happened? So first, let's see what was going on today. Cybersecurity strong, China name strong, bank strong, software cloud strong, fintech strong, crypto strong. So top sectors where the money was flowing today: AI infrastructure red, memory red, AI CPU red, NVIDIA suppliers, TPU suppliers, photonics. Even space and rocket didn't do much. So those sectors were not really dip buying trade today. What happened? So what happened was, which was one of our main trade, we will talk about our Meta Long Winner that we traded in the community. So let's first see what was happening, and then we'll also go to our Meta trade and we'll talk about a bunch of other long trades. So what was happening today? So let's take a look here. So we got a news in the pre-market planning. This is our pre-market planning sheet that I create live every day. So the news today was Meta is a building cloud business to sell its excess AI compute. Sell excess AI compute. Pay attention to that. So what happened? All the sectors that I mentioned, AI sectors, started selling off. Infrastructure, testing, the photonics, memory, everything, name it, everything was selling off. And the software names were strong because the money started to rotate on those. So what we do, we put software names on our game plan. I put IGV on our game plan. We'll recap that, and the top news, data centers, Meta, and all of those were short. We'll talk about those as well in a bit here. So let me explain what happened today. So Meta came in today this morning, and Meta said it's planning to launch its own cloud infrastructure business. It's going to rent out its excess AI computing power to other people, right? This, of course, the stock's jumping. So what happened there? Meta had insane amount of capex. They spent $125 billion to $145 billion. What is capex? Capex is a capital expenditure to build your AI infrastructure so you can make more AI, agentic AI, and sell it to to the customers. You need a lot of those infrastructure, data centers, the CPUs, the GPUs to build that that AI that you use every day. Now when Meta comes in and says it has excess of that capacity, that means, why is everybody spending so much money? Do we really need that? Right now it's a fear, news based. We don't know what the reality is, but market reacts. Right, so market was fearful that tech giants have built and overbuilt, and they have to dump their excess compute into the market, just like Meta did. Of course, it's good for Meta. Meta can get revenue from there. And what about the other people, other companies who give the AI compute, like CoreWeave and BIS? What about those guys? If Meta is selling its compute that it has spent so much money on, billions of dollars, then nobody needs those. So specialized AI providers, GPU as service like CoreWeave and Nebius, took a hit. Right, the monetization of the money that we are It was bullish for them. Some say it's bullish for Meta because it's becoming more like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. So of course, Meta jumps 8-9%, and Nvidia drops, AMD drops. So it basically spooked the whole AI infrastructure, semiconductor equipment, the companies. Like I just showed you, if you go there, like we have our AI infra testing, we have a Neo Cloud data center. Everything was down 17%. New Nebius, CoreWeave, Brun, Hut, Cipher. If you look at the other hot list sectors, we talk about, the photonics took a hit. So that's what happened. Right, so you understand what happened. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And market is always knee-jerk reaction. Was market reacts first, talks later. The investor sold off those trades first and talks later. So that's why in our pre-market planning, I discussed that we provided all those plays that you could. Let me see if I can show you that on the day 2 setups. So you could actually short all those setups like Marvell short under 1 hour MTF, Breakout, Intel, CRDO. So you could see that a lot of those names were like dumping under 1 hour MTF clouds. Marvell dumped. CRDO was a little choppy. So it was. Intel was 1 hour MTF dumps. You could see that. You could short that. AMD was the dump. So you could do that. We didn't touch any of those long, right? So let's now go what we longed. Where did we make money with? So we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through all our setups here. So let's start with Meta. So I already explained it to you. The news that was on Meta today was a pretty impressive news. As soon as the market opened, I told the traders to long Meta. Of course, big news for Meta and bad news for semiconductors. The pre-market plan was Meta bullish buys to long on pullback, 600 psychological setup, no go under 585. Bullish buys to long on pullback, 600 psychological setup. Also, we had a 2021 MTF cloud. Right away, I tell the traders long versus 600, breakout over 614, pulled back here when I mentioned it. If traders added their 600 here, they took it all the way to 628. So I told the traders to move the stops up to 604. As we keep moving our stops up, we hit 628. You barely were risking $3-4 and we made $20. You're risking $1,000 and you're making like 5-6 grand. That's how a trade was. You could trade METU as well, leverage ETF. So that was a good one. So that was my like guidance. Finally we moved the stops to 613. So once 613 was our stops, it never really broke that, but end of the day we broke 512s. I told the traders to exit it. So that was the Meta trade, beautiful profitable trade. I just told you how we did it. You have to plan, you have to understand what's the hottest news in the market. You always focus on that. So let's go to our next play here. So next play I'm going to quickly talk about is Tesla. So what was happening with Tesla today? Tesla was our day 3 long. If you remember, we were long on the day 1, we were long on the day 2. So let's take a look. Tesla pre-market plan, day 3, long over previous day high, pre-market high. Careful if breaks 416. So 416 support, 418 support, 420 breakout level. So as soon as I see that breaking out right here, not initially, but right at 950, I told the traders to long here, use the 418. So as soon as I see that, and I tell the traders to move their stops up, and all day it ran to 431. You just ride the Ripster cloud all the way up. You're risking $4 here, and you're making over $10. There's a pretty good risk reward. So that was Tesla. Let's go to the next trade here. So let's look at our Nike trade today. I'm going to go through quick. So Nike coming in was gapping down under this MTF cloud. The first candle was gapping down. In the pre-market, we had a bearish bias. I said, watch it. Watch the 41 level and the MTF. When I saw this candle, strong candle, pushing over the Ripster 1 hour MTF cloud, I told the traders to long it, put your stops under MTF. You long right here at 41.30, 41.40. Your stop is 30-40 cents. You take it to 43. You're risking 40 cents. You're making $2. Remember, Ripster MTF magnet setup, MTF to the MTF cheat code. Once again, beautiful trade for the traders, solid profit, especially for the small account. Options went 100%. Let's go to the next one. So next let's talk about the software sector. I mean, there's literally so much running today. You could literally long a lot of stuff. When we track software, you see I highlighted IGV, software and tech name strong. Bullish bias to long versus clouds. IGV, when software is strong, the rotation is, the money is flowing out of AI names. So you trade IGV. So you get IGV long. Look at that. When the IGV went from this, let's see here, when the IGV over 92.50, once it broke out, you just take longs at this candle, stops under 512, hold to the 94, you could make $2 per share profit there. So IGV was a beautiful trade as well. But if you didn't want to trade IGV, you find the strongest software name which is going and running on that. So for the strongest software names, there are many names. We'll talk about Reddit, our long-term position, but let's talk about PLTR first. So PLTR, which was on our game plan. So PLTR was on our game plan. Trump bought at least 1 million Planeteer share. Old news, but all scores. The software is strong. So we highlighted PLTR as red. The plan on PLTR was pretty simple. 119 support, 121 resistance, bullish bias to long over the pre-market high, 512 clouds. So our bias was bullish bias to long. So as soon as you saw that the PLTR breaking out, I told the traders PLTR is a long and PLTR is gonna push to the MTF there. So you can see that my voice transcript as well. I told the traders that PLT, all software, we are ready to go. PLTR is a long, along with all the softwares everywhere, software, continuous guiding that PLTR is flagging. So we were long on the PLTR. So I told the traders your target is MTF magnet. You're breaking the flag, you long it, you get in. If you missed the initial move, just get a small size. And from there, PLTR hit our MTF magnet. And when it was breaking this flag at 955, I told the traders we are breaking the flag right here, flag. And I told the traders to move the stops up to 120 to 121. So traders moved the stops to 120 to 121. We pushed all the way to 127.50. We moved the stops to 125.50. So that was your stops, 125.50. It held, went on all the way to 128. And we moved our stops to 127.50. Once that stop was gone, we exited it right here. You can see the timestamp guidance. So step-by-step guidance, voice guidance, software strong. Find the most bullish software name, PLTR. Of course, the beaten down software name, also our MTF magnet strategy, beautiful trade there. So next one I want to quickly talk about is coin and MSTR and all those names. So crypto was pretty good. It was rotation, right? So the crypto has been beaten down, as we know, for past few days. So this morning the crypto was definitely showing a lot of strength there. So all three were on day two plan, Circle, Coin, and of course we had MSTR as on our plan as well. Highlighted is a red focus play, 88 level sitting at 1 hour MTF, long over 1 hour MTF. So that was the plan. And as soon as I see that the crypto is strong, I tell my traders to get long, find an entry there. Also because the rotation is happening, so you will see a lot of more strength in there in coin and MSTR. So let's take a look here. So I told the traders on the voice today, Bitcoin is place to be. Bitcoin is strong. Coin is looking pretty good, right? So basically we are long there as well. My traders are already long. MSTR is where you should be this morning. Continuous guidance to my traders to get those trades. Anything that's running, we're on top of it. And you see that was a beautiful 1 hour MTF cloud breakout on MSTR. A beautiful cloud breakout on MSTR, right? And let's look at coin. So coin was MTF to the MTF magnet setup. MTF to the MTF magnet setup. Both were long. So I told the traders target 160, move the stops up to 153. Coin hit stops at 161. I don't have to say much. You can see my step-by-step guidance here. You can see target of 95 first, flag break, ran all the way up there. MSTR, we kept moving the stops up. I told the traders do not cut. That was what I was continuously telling my traders, because today is the day where crypto and Bitcoin are running, so you got to hold them and let them work. Circle did work for us initially. We were long on Circle. Let me show you my timestamp guidance here. So I told the traders to long versus 63.50, so we longed it right here. 64.20 went to 66. Actually we made $2 per share profit, but when we pulled back we got out because Circle also had a bad news stable coin. It was not really running with the Bitcoin, so Circle kind of did not work out, but still a nice small little green trade. Let's go to the next one. So I already talked about software was strong. So software really helped us with our swing trades and our long-term trades because the money started to move there. So let's start with our swing that day before yesterday. yesterday actually I told the traders to get long on APP, right? So let me see if I can show you that, our timestamp guidance here. Here you go. APP initially has sent update. This was the chart. Let me see if I can show you. This was our chart. It was flagging. I told the traders set up, getting ready for the breakout. Watch the pullback. Risk is 492. It pulled back to 492. I added 498. We told my traders, told my students, the community as well to add that APP setup. And let's see, I also shared it freely. I tweeted it out as well. APP, this was the setup. Nice flag, downtrend channel break, 500 psychological. It's a bullish chart pattern. It's a bullish chart pattern. And then you see that broke out. Yesterday we held the swing. We trimmed a little bit, but we held out of our swing. And this morning when we woke up and we saw the software rotation, I told my traders to hold. Not only that, it was also on our day 2 plan APP, bullish bias to long versus 525. Watch any pullback, 10 at swing position there, right? So you see that it was a long. I told traders going to hit 600. Right, so our swing position, which we are still holding our swing position here. It's still at 564. We took most of the profits, left some. So you see that how much we closed at 15% gain on that swing position. Why was that? That was the daily chart breakout that I just showed you. So you need to identify these chart patterns, learn these chart patterns, see if there's a rotation happening. Maybe sector is getting hot. You know it's a beaten down stock. Curling, 500 psychological breakout. Not only that, yesterday I saw this double MTF cloud. This is where we bought 598, 498, because double MTF cloud, and rest is history today. Insanely changed our long-term portfolio today. We were touching at 170% gains on our short-term portfolio before we hit a loss on ENPH. So beautiful trade, rotation. I tweeted out the setup. Before, no hindsight. Learn how to see this, before and after, right? So beautiful. Hold with the Ripster cloud when you're on swing. Trim some. It did not break 3450 cloud. Was no reason to close it fully. Was a beautiful trade. Literally traders change their account today. No need to be in AI when AI is selling off. Remember the sector rotation, Ripster cloud system, the key levels, the psychological levels, the MTF cloud levels, and make this swings that can change your portfolio. Let's go to the next one. So next one I'm going to talk about Reddit, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm just going to show you that over the when Reddit was selling off, it has such a good earnings. Let's look at this chart, right? So it had amazing earnings, ran all the way up, pulled back, ran up again, from that same level, pulled back again, turned over the Ripster clouds, over 3450 and broke out today over that and pushed towards the 100, right? So it's our long-term position. Reddit, you can see that we are average size at 148, and I've been continuously updating it for our tenant research side, our investors as well, about how to trade Reddit. If you go back, I'm gonna go back and I'll show you that.